I'm here in the heart of Sussex, in the Ashdown Forest National Park, a vast area of outstanding natural beauty, comprising of 60% heathland and 40% woodland, thus providing the perfect habitats for a huge and diverse array of species. Some of these species I'm hoping to find for you today. The Ashdown's distinctive landscape has been created over centuries of exploitation and use. Originally created for the sole purpose of deer hunting, the forest has been and still is common land, welcoming horse riders, dog walkers and wildlife watchers alike. Its 1,600 hectares of heathland consists of an array of scrub vegetation, including heather, gorse and bracken, all of which create the conditions needed for some of the UK's most exciting wildlife to thrive. Animals such as Britain's largest spider, the raft spider, and its only poisonous snake, the adder, as well as 4 species of deer and the nightjar, can all be found here. I'm walking down to the woodland section of the Ashdown Forest National Park. I wanted to start with the woodland because I wanted to really focus on the smaller bird species in the area, because I think that there's a huge diversity of those, and actually the smaller things are really pretty, and as soon as you take your time out to focus on them, they can actually be just as interesting and just as exciting as the larger species. About 10 metres into the woods already. That's the heathland just behind us from where we were. We've stopped here because there was a robin that was sat on a branch just next to us as we were walking through, and it seemed totally unfazed by us, so I stopped and I listened for a bit and I watched it for a bit. Too busy watching to get my camera out. Bad wildlife camera woman. But actually it was amazing because it meant that I noticed and I heard all the different songs of all the different birds around here. And if you look up in the trees, you can see the flutters of the birds as they move from branch to branch. So actually there's a lot of hope that we're going to see some really nice birds around here. The only downside to that is that it makes it very, very hard to capture because these birds are so fast moving and I am not very fast moving. But I've got some birdseed, as you can see here. This is just a mixture of seeds and nuts that I picked up from a local supermarket my way. And the idea of the seed is that actually if I put it down in a place that I think the birds will or are likely to be, so somewhere quite high up, a good perch, then hopefully the birds are going to come to it and they will stay in that place for a little bit longer. And hopefully we might be able to get some footage so you don't just think that I'm a complete loony and that I'm talking about wildlife that I haven't even seen. So fingers crossed. Managed to spot a little wren. The wren was on the floor and it looked a lot like a dormouse from a distance. And wrens generally do. They're actually the size of a dormouse. They are really, really teeny tiny birds. They're brown in colouring and spend a lot of their time on the floor. This one's actually really tame. I'm in a really deep dark part of the woods now that for a while I haven't seen any wildlife, I haven't seen any people, but actually apart from the odd animal I've seen very little. But this wren has really caught my attention. I can see it fluttering around in the distance. It's still a little bit far away to get a really good shot, so I'm waiting for it to come out. As I headed out of the woods and into the warm sunshine covering the heathland, a few more species caught my eye. This garden spider can be identified by the cross on its back and is seen spinning an orb web. The orb is the most advanced web, consisting of an interconnected spiral of silk lines around radial lines, making it impenetrable to flying insects which fall prey to these spiders. They are commonly found in hedges or fences and are rarely seen outside the months of August to October. Here we can see a kestrel hovering above its prey. These birds are notorious for their hunting technique, and like many other raptors, kestrels have ultraviolet vision, allowing them to see the UV trails their prey leave in its urine. Whilst hovering, the kestrel will use its incredible eyesight to track its prey before plunging in to kill it. The number of kestrels in the UK has declined, leading to the conservation status of the kestrel being changed to amber. The end of the day in and around the Ashdown, and it's been a really brilliant day. I've seen so many things, and although I haven't quite managed to get the footage that I'd hoped for some of the things that I've seen, it has been a really brilliant day, and I've had a tiny insight into how difficult it is to be a camera woman or cameraman, and how much skill it takes to be there at the right place in the right time. One thing that I've really noticed is that as you walk through a place, wildlife just seems to scatter. It just disappears, which makes it really difficult to film anything. But actually, if you sit there and if you wait and you spend the time sitting dead still, dead quietly, kind of hiding away, then actually the wildlife does come flooding back.